Hi, I'm Anup, and I welcome you all to Blue Saffron, the podcast program of corporateshitak.com, sponsored by Jani Plastics. And you are about to receive knowledge on Indian and Australian GST, goods and service tax. Yeah, you got it right, mate. Let's get started, shall we? The EY bill in GST. All states of India have introduced the EY bill from 16th of June 2018. Ignoring it while doing business is like playing with fire, which could bring disaster. So one must understand it clearly. The best way is question answer. So let me come up with the relevant questions myself and I'll try to answer. First of all, what is the EY bill? It's nothing but an invoice, actually the replica of the invoice. The replica that government understands and requires when your invoice amount crosses the limit of rupees 50,000. So basically you are directly and proactively informing the government about your relatively heavy transaction taking place. You generate it by filling a form that looks like an invoice form on the government portal. Who's responsible for creating EY bill? Well, the supplier, the receiver, any person that makes sales or purchase with the unregistered person or dealer. All these people are responsible for creating the EY bill if the amount crosses rupees 50,000. Now, what type of supply? Well, there are all types of movements of goods that are covered under EY bill. That also includes rejection, sale, return, repair, and maintenance, and job work. The amount, as we already know, is 50,000 rupees, so I wouldn't take my chances. If the total invoice amount, including the tax, crosses the limit of rupees 50,000, then I would go ahead and generate the EY bill myself. There is a validity of the EY bill. So for if your goods is being transported within 100 kilometers, then the validity would be 1 day. So on the second day, the same EY bill would not be valid. For 100 to 300 kilometers, it's 3 days. 300 to 500 kilometers is 5 days. And if your item is being transported far from 500 to 1000 kilometers, the validity would be 10 days. And for 10,000 kilometers or more, the validity of the EY bill is 15 days. Now, you might think that can we club all the EY bills together in one? No way. Each invoice is one consignment, you see, and EY bill, if applicable, is required for each consignment. Then some of you people who know something called the consolidated EY bill may ask, what is that? Consolidated EY bill is generated when the transporter is carrying multiple consignment in a single vehicle. It allows the transporter to carry a single document instead of separate documents for each consignment in a conveyance. So that's consolidated EY bill. How many parts are there? There are two parts, essentially part A, part B. The part A is to be filled by the supplier. It has the detail of the item, the supplier, the receiver, and part B is to be filled by the transporter himself. Now, there are a few very important things you should keep in mind. One is once you create and submit EY bill, you cannot change it. So there is no editing after submission. Secondly, you don't need a printout of EY bill while dispatching. You just generate the EY bill, you mention the EY number on your invoice, and that should be sufficient. And last but not least, the very important point is there is a penalty. There's a penalty for non-filing EY bill How much is it? It's 200% of your GST value of invoice. You heard me right. It's 200% of your GST value. So you better make sure when you need to generate e-way bill, if you have to, you must. So my dear listeners, I hope you enjoyed the audio. I also hope there was some takeaway for you. Signing off now. We'll come up with more interesting episodes. Till then, take good care of yourselves. Keep liking your one and only Blue Saffron. Cheers. Bye bye.